Hey, this is the second part of a series of making the final birdhouse project for the second level that is intermediate AutoCAD class at the Shipyard Night School here in Newport News, Virginia. Next, we've completed the 7 boards of the birdhouse, and they're all sliced, so there's no overlap. This is the minimum requirement. The handout shows extra pieces on the roof, but that's not a requirement for the students. So in this, and everything is on layer 0 so far. I figured I'd make the layers and move things to them near the end, since y'all should know all about layers by now. Right now I'm gonna make the shape of the bird, or the opening for the bird to enter the birdhouse, and a hole for the perch to insert into. And the requirement is it inserts a little bit into the birdhouse. So let's get underway. Looks like we're still in the world coordinate system from where we left off. Let me change the visual style to wireframe to give you a better idea. You can see the sides have been sliced, and the peak of the roof has been sliced where the roof slabs overlapped. I forget the dimensions, but they're close to what we have in the handout. Let's change the UCS to be on the face of the front of the birdhouse, with 0, 0, 0 being at this nearest bottom corner, X going across the width of the front of the birdhouse, Y going up straight up this edge of the front of the birdhouse. And on that plane, we can make the opening for the bird to enter the birdhouse, extrude it and subtract it from the slab of the front of the birdhouse. Similar for the hole in the birdhouse. Can't remember what diameter I've been using. So let's, I'm back in the introductory workspace. I'm working on that class. Now let's go down here to the workspace list on the status bar. Change it to 3D modeling. And on the coordinates panel of the home tab of the 3D modeling workspace ribbon, I've only found a need to use this one UCS controller here, the 3.1, and of course return periodically to world. You can store UCSs, but they're easy enough to make with the 3-point method here. So let's click the 3-point method. I'll zoom in to show that for good measure. Enter, there we go. Oh, always something. All right, we'll zoom back out, close off whatever that was. And where are we? 3-point UCS. UCS enter, 3 enter is a quick type in way. Command prompt is asked saying specify new origin point, that is 0, 0, 0. Let's O snap. I got the 5 O snaps on as usual. Dynamic input and polar tracking on. Next prompt of the 3-point UCS method is specify a point in the positive portion of the x-axis. In other words, any point that's straight down the x-axis. You got O snaps for that end point right there, or that midpoint right there. Of course, you can use any near point. I don't have that running, of course. We'll click on this midpoint to answer that question. Next question is specify a point on positive Y portion of the XY plane. And this, you got a tremendous variety of points here. Hopefully I can transparently, that gives me a clear shot of the edge of the front of the birdhouse. Might lose it when I hit escape. Let's see. Nope, still going on. Good. straight up to this endpoint is probably the intuitive point to answer that question. That is certainly a point that is on the positive y portion of the new xy plane. So with those 3 points, I've got a new origin at the corner here, 0, 0, 0. X going to the right, Y going straight up, Z coming out of the screen. Let's change the view to get a little more head on here. Now, if I pick points in blank space, by default, it'll be on the XY plane. Get out of 3D free orbit. I keep thinking I need to come up with a different opening, but I won't take time now to do that. Eyeballing roughly the center of the birdhouse. About the same point, let's draw a circle. And we'll draw another circle. Depending on what type of bird you want to attract, you might want to make it taller or wider. I need to, one of my many interests is in making a martin box to attract those insect-eating bugs. Anyway, let's do a polyline. Regular line would be just as good. We'll add some sort of beak. Hit enter for the last used command and add some tail feathers. How's that? Martins like to have it wider than tall, and that keeps some of the bad birds out. Let me lower the head and the beak a bit. What happened? Did I just hit erase? Well, I'll enter to undo. Yep, I hit erase instead of move. All right, move. We'll pick those objects. Hopefully the martin can spread its wings to go through the wide part. And this being not so tall will keep the cowbirds, bad birds, moving into the house. While we're here, let's add a perch. How big should we make it? 1/2 inch diameter. I'm on center radius circle method, so I'll make the radius 0.25. Probably should add a little bit of an allowance for the glue to go. Is that fairly well centered? Yeah, let's call that good enough. It escaped to get out of 3D free orbit. I'll trim away the shape of the bird and join it into a closed polyline. There's trim. Blow away everything that doesn't look like a bird's outline. Okay. Enter to finish the trim command. Let's launch the join command to weld these lines and arcs into a closed polyline. Whoop. Put join icon. Zoom in. Hit the wrong button again. There's the join icon. Zoom back out. Click join. Select the entire bird, hit enter. Now it's a closed polyline. I'll open up the properties from the right click menu. Oh, just came back from walking. Let's see, they're closed polyline. So it's ready to extrude. Now we could extrude these both. Yeah, let's extrude them both at the same time. Click extrude. Select the circle and the closed polyline, enter. Now, can I transparently alter the display to ensure I'm Putting the cursor in the proper direction. Good. We're going in the negative Z. Negative Z direction. So that we can vaporize these objects out of the front board, leaving holes. I'll hit enter space bar. Huh. Now, why is that so narrow? Let me undo and make it a bit bigger. Extrude, select them both. There, that's definitely big enough to vaporize the holes out. Click the subtract icon, zoom in to show that icon, zoom back out. Now, the trick of the subtract command is selecting the big object from which you want to subtract first. That would be the front board of the birdhouse. Hit enter. Now subtract the objects you want to turn into blazes of the sun to vaporize the holes into the first object selected. We'll remove those two. Might be a reason to do them separately, but I'll risk doing them together. Hit enter. Let's get the warm and fuzzy with the conceptual visual style. Still don't have a color for layers and colors, so it looks like we've succeeded in burning those two openings. Hit escape to get back, or to back out of 3D free orbit. Okay, now let's make the perch. Remember, it's 1/2 inch diameter to insert into the hole and extend toward the inside so birds can stop on, jump from the floor of the house to the perch and then crawl through the hole and back on the perch and fly away. Let's get back to the world coordinate system because I want to make the perch in front of the birdhouse and spin it around so I can simply lift it up and insert it back into the birdhouse. So we'll go to the coordinates panel of the home tab of the 3D modeling workspace and click the world coordinate system. UCS enter, W enter is a quick type in way. Okay, let's build some guidelines. Okay, snapping into the world coordinate Y axis going negative Y. 6 inches is plenty long. Now we'll copy it 1/4 inch to the side. Where's copy? Copy, select, enter, polar track in the negative or positive X direction. 1/4 of an inch. I'm not allowing any allowance for the. All right, what happened? Let me back up. Looks like I slid off the polar tracking. Copy, select the object, enter. There. Snap into polar tracking and type 0.25 so that our lathed perch will be 1/2 inch diameter at its base. Okay, let's add some contour on the section of the perch that'll extend outside. And we'll leave the house end of the perch as it is, and we'll lathe it twice this offset, so it'll be a 1/2 inch round to go into the 1/2 inch hole here. Okay, what do you want to do? We add some curvature, some circles. And some more curvatures. Copy one. Whoop, copy. Replicate it from there to there to there. How's that? Is that a good profile? Add a straight line. So the outer end of the perch will be flat. We'll add a line across here. Now we need to trim and erase and join this into a profile that'll be spun around this axis to make the perch. Again, it'll double in size here when we spin it around this axis. Let's launch the trim icon. I believe in 2023, if you miss something, yeah, it'll form a fence. And now we can erase. I'll hit enter to finish trim, launch the erase icon, and quickly erase all of these scallops. So this will be the shape of the perch. Looks like it'll stick out. This is 6 inches long. So this curvature section will stick out of the house 3 inches here. Let's go to the join icon to weld these arcs and lines into a closed polyline. There we go. Join again is this double arrows here. We'll zoom back out, select the join icon. When select everything, enter, select it. Properties is already up. It is a polyline, and it's not closed. I wonder why. Well, the easy way to close it is just drop down. I'm not sure why it wasn't closed automatically. I don't believe there'll be a problem. Let's spin this perch around using the revolve command, and this line as the axis of rotation. Okay, the revolve command is under the extrude icon. Here's the revolve icon to invoke the revolve command. It says select the objects to revolve. Just want this profile to revolve, enter. Now the start point of the axis and the end point of the axis. Any 2 points along this line will define that axis. And it says unable to resolve. And nuts. Well, let me stop the recording, troubleshoot this. Okay, I found the problem. Not sure what caused it. Apparently down here at the bottom, I've got an unusual connection here. Apparently I didn't zoom in close enough to, I guess when I added this line, I should have trimmed the piece of the scallop before adding that final line across. So because of this, it kind of the profile overlaps on itself. So p-edit join, it's a join polyline right now. Polyline joined, yes. Let's explode it. Where's explode? There. X enters to type in. We'll explode it. And let's zoom in and trim. Yeah, we'll trim this outer arc line here. Trim, zoom in, shave off that whisker. Now let's select stuff with no command active. Okay, I'm a little nervous about this. We got a couple extra joints here. I'm going to erase everything at the bottom here and then redraw that. I think there's going to be two objects to erase. Let's erase one, enter. And sure enough, there's a short segment that was under the long segment. So let's erase that short segment. Let's redraw the flat end of this perch. Now nothing will go wrong. Drop down, join, two arrows point to point. Select everything, enter. Select it. It's a polyline, it is closed. Okay, hit escape to deselect, we'll revolve. REV, enter is the type in. That's our profile, close polyline, hit enter to finish selecting. Now it wants 2 points on the axis. Most intuitive are the end points, doesn't have to be. And it's looking good. How far do we want to rotate it? 180 degrees. Let's accept the default of 360 by hitting enter. There's our perch. Click on it. It is a 3D solid. Let's zoom to admire our work. Perch should be on its own layer, of course. I'll build the layers and move stuff later. Let's go back to the wireframe visual style, and that'll allow me to home in on the center point and snap it to the center of the front of the hole. Okay, we'll click move. We'll select the 3D solid revolve perch, hit enter, hover on the circumference to highlight the center. Got the perch by its center point, and we'll place it temporarily. Actually, we can go all the way to the back of the hole here. So now the perch is completely through the hole, but not inside of the house. Let's launch the move icon again, or command. And we'll carefully polar track in the 90-degree direction, or up the current y-axis. Click. Let's change the visual style to conceptual and admire our work. Still a little too far. Yeah, let's slide him a little bit further in. Hit escape to deselect, move, select the perch. Very carefully staying on the 90-degree polar tracking angle, so we're in the world's Y direction. Now we have just an 1/8 of an inch or so gap there. I believe we'll call that good enough. Very imaginative on a perch. It fits the bill. 3 inches of the perch might add some length, but no. Maybe I should slice that shorter. Well, we'll see. If I can't fit the 3 views on the final layout, I can chop a couple of lobes off of this perch with the slice command. Let's call that good enough. Okay. Not sure how long this has been going. Let's call this the end of part 2 of creating the birdhouse. I'll see you for the 3rd part. Whoops. How do I stop the recording? There we go.